everybody. Welcome to our
favorite.
Absolutely. And...
a little shake.
Oh, that's so weird. Oh no. Anyway, welcome. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We are dropping our last fantastic episode today, picked by none other than our very own Jared.
Me.
He's rounding out the end with his great Christmas Carol story adaptation.
Scrooge!
There you go.
But without the D.
He has a D, but we're not going to talk about that.
He didn't get any because he let what's-her-name walk away.
Yes, he did. That was a very sad song. They had a
whole song together.
That was a very sad song. That was a good song.
I was getting a little emotional this time. I've seen it a couple times. It's like, why am I getting so emotional? I wasn't emotional before. I'm just falling apart. Keep going. The music in this makes me laugh. And enjoy the I Hate People song that he was singing. I felt that one. I thought it was like, what did they say? I hate people. I abhor them when I see the indolent classes sitting on their indolent asses, gulping ale from indolent glasses. I hate people. I detest them. I deplore them. There you go. That's my best Albert Finney Scrooge I can do.
That was fantastic.
That song starts with my favorite just line deliveries of the whole thing where he goes, Poppycock, Balderdash, Bah. It's that bah that gets me every single time. And then he starts. He's not really singing. I can't remember the name. It's when you basically are talk singing.
Yeah.
But it's put more into what you're saying than how you're singing it. I can't remember the name of it. But, yeah, I don't know how much of a singer Albert Finney is.
Because he struggle too much.
Because he has that song solo. Mm-hmm. Then he has the You song, which isn't fully sung by him. He opens and closes it. That's the one that I was getting a little about. And then he sings the beginning of the finale when he wakes up. So he has more than... It's not like he couldn't sing and they gave him one little thing. He sings multiple times.
Yeah, he does. He does a good job at it.
So, and of course it was the music and lyrics by Leslie... How do you say that? It's like Brickus.
No.
Who's done the one that I know the best is the songs and music for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, that's a cool time.
Yep. Also did music for the Goldfinger song and You Only Live Twice. The song from the 70s Superman is another one.
Oh, wow.
The Can You Read My Mind? Love the theme.
That's really cool.
Also Dr. Doolittle's music and songs. So, pretty prominent. He wrote songs with John Williams for Hook when Hook was going to be a musical.
Let's go.
And they cut all the lyrics, so the songs are still in there, but then the song that got nominated that Maggie sings, I think is one of the holdovers. So some prominent stuff. I think he was also a producer on this film, so very heavily involved with it. We said it was the 1970 Scrooge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, making sure. I started going.
Yep.
I hope we said the name.
1970 Scrooge, not the 88 Scrooge.
Not the Scrooge or the Alastair Sim 1950s Scrooge. This is a musical version of it. It takes out some of the deeper stuff I've seen in other versions, but in its place has some quieter moments that I think other versions skip through or just don't have. And I really liked the songs. The songs were criticized when the movie was out by people saying they feel very shallow or one-dimensional and kind of simplistic writing. But I like it. I think it works.
It's a simplistic story, so it fits. It doesn't have to be anything like crazy. It's a G-rated movie. It's literally supposed to be made for every single person. It's not going to be like crazy deep.
But it's got one of the catchiest musical songs I can think of. Thank You Very Much. The nominated song. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. That is
Thank you. I just realized that was been out of my head since I watched it, and that's when you stuck.
Yeah, I remember my dad was about 10 when this came out, and
that was the one thing he remembered. He's like, "Oh, are you watching Scrooge?" I go, "Yeah." "Is that the thank you very much one?" I go, "Yep, it is." Because fairly popular in its day. It's kind of fallen to the wayside in adaptations because there's so many, and you got more recent ones. You know, like the two you guys have picked are more recent one. Yours is 30-some years old now, but you know, and they're both so different. That's why else. And then Mickey's is pretty prominent. The Muppets is very popular. You got the Zemeckis Jim Carrey one. The Sim one is still one, and a lot of people actually like the Patrick Stewart one, which makes me happy because that's tied with this one for my favorite. I had to choose, and I chose this one. But the Patrick Stewart one holds a special place in my heart too. So, yeah, that's Scrooge.
It is truly charming, and I have to bring him up because he was my favorite part in this. I love Alec Guinness, and I'm watching this, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. What are you doing? The way this man enters and leaves a room is my favorite thing ever. Scrooge.
Just a little hand wave right as the door's closing every time I watch. Go, get the hand out, get the hand out, get the hand out, please.
And why, like, when he walked in, he was just, like, flaunting it. Like, he was moving like, why, like, who told Alec to walk like this? What is he doing?
And, Albert Finney gets to the door, the classic Marley's face on the knocker, and then it's just, and I said to myself out loud, like, Scrooge, and then the second, like, Scrooge.
It made me laugh so much, especially when they were in hell. Just seeing them.
What a wild sequence.
That was like, there's so much going on. I'm like, what?
I remember I watched it last year for the first time in like a decade because I owned it. I watched it, I think, early college. I was like, I like this because, you know, YouTube recommended. Thank you very much. I listened. Like, I like this a lot. So I watched a couple other songs. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch the movie around Christmas time, and I bought it and watched it and liked it, and then I just didn't touch it. Then last year I was like, I'm gonna watch this again. I really liked it. And as I'm watching, I'm like, yep, I remember this. And then he wakes up in hell. I was like, I don't remember this. Well, is this quick? No, it's not. It's like 4 or 5 minutes.
It was so random.
They go into a straight up like counting room, don't they?
Yep, his personal hell is his office where he is in Cratchit's role under Lucifer, and he has to just file reports the rest of his existence, and it's cold, and he's like, it's the coolest room in hell. See ya, Scrooge. Something like that. And I remember thinking, like, I don't remember this at all. I love the shot where he wakes up in the coffin shape, though, because, you know, he falls into the grave, and it, like, lights up around him. I go, that's cool.
That silhouette, because there was, like, a good, like, it was, like, a gap. It was, like, blindly all of a sudden. That was a cool shot.
It looks really good. The whole movie, the art direction, costume design were also nominated. Just, I was noticing this, too, like, there's a lot of color in this, and when you think about it, like, there's always been a lot of color in what people wear throughout history. Just in so many things, because whenever I think of, like, modern day, like, grungy, grimy, gross, it's like Polanski's Oliver Twist comes to mind. It's like, we just took this and just added mud to everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, do people realize, like, and I saw this in Letterboxd reviews, too, of other things. Do people realize that humans have always liked color, and if anything, they probably like color more back then than they do now? So when you see the costumes like this, it's like, yeah, it's a little more touched up than they would because they'd be a little more worn, but there's still color. It's got a very warm feeling and look to it, too, that is perfect for it.
Yeah.
But I did notice that this time around, like, it looks really good. I think it's a lot of it, most of it's on a set. Yeah, I think it's Shepperton Studios, and there's something about studio work like that I really like compared to location shooting. You need both. And you don't need both for every movie, but there's just something you lose when you're shooting on location, because there's just something about what's the word I'm looking for?
You can't get
claustrophobic it is, and how you can have the layers to things, and you can control the environment.
Make it look exactly how you want.
I don't know what it is about certain movies where the countryside in the distance is a painting, but it feels more real to me than actually being outside in some movies. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's these days with so much is CG'd.
You don't like the outside?
I mean, the outside doesn't like me. The doctor told me that. Told you that, right?
No.
I was at the doctor a couple years ago because I got bronchitis. I tend to get it about once a year. Instead of like sinus infections, I get bronchitis.
Yeesh.
And so, doctor walks in, and before he says anything, I go, "Is it bronchitis?" And he goes, "Actually, yes. I'm guessing you've had this before." And I go, "Multiple times." He goes, "So you know the spiel?" I go, "Yeah." And he saw that I usually get eczema in the middle of my arm there. Not so lately, but he goes, "Is that eczema on your skin?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "And do you also," I think it was like, "do you have like allergies to like anything like weather change?" So I go, "Yeah, mold and mildew." And he goes, "So I don't know how to say this other than you are allergic to the environment." I go, "Oh." He goes, "Yes, Mother Nature does not like you." I go, "That's nice. So basically, if I go outside, I'm doomed." And he goes, "That's a little dramatic, but yes, you are."
Jared, dramatic?
You are sensitive to everything outside. I go, "No wonder I'm a shut-in at times. No wonder I don't go anywhere. The outdoors hates me, and I hate it back. And I'm okay with that." So maybe that's why I like studio work, because it reminds me that I'm safe inside until my house catches on fire or drown in a flood or all the other things you can die inside from, like sneezing weird.
Trying to pull your sock off your foot.
I still can't believe you wrenched your ankle taking your socks off.
Y'all, I had to use a crutch.
I know.
I was like Tiny Tim up in here.
You were.
I had a crutch.
Is he allowed to say that?
I don't think so.
That's the
Yeah, he's a little disabled. You shouldn't. You should.
Anyway.
You shouldn't use. No.
If anything, I'm the one that's like Tiny Tim up in here with my crutches when I was a kid.
Now, what kind of crutches did you have, if I can ask? Was it like the normal kind, or did you have a special kind that
I had the
don't
ones
feel...
I had the ones that your stereotypical people with cerebral palsy have. The things that got the arm things around and they got the handle and you're walking around like this.
Okay, like Walt Jr. from Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Like those type?
But also like...
Freddy from Shazam.
No, well, yes. The dude in South Park that has them.
Oh,
I don't know.
The brown-haired Jimmy and Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy.
Keep it that way.
Yeah.
You're better off.
But yeah, so you had those. I was wondering because, as you found out, of course, with those crutches, those aren't comfortable.
Oh God, no.
And
you think the other ones are?
I was about to ask you, are those comfortable?
No.
Crutches are just not comfortable. Mm-hmm. Just thinking about that weight
Respect
right there.
More
just
for
like that's like the softest part under your arm, and that's where you have to shove that. I know there's a pad. It doesn't help.
Yeah, it helps a little bit, but yeah, respect to Tiny Tim for being able to do that. A lot of respect.
Yeah. So you guys had never seen this before?
No.
Had you seen anything from it before?
Nope.
So you knew nothing about it?
Zero.
Other than
somewhere.
Oh, Alec Guinness is in this.
No, I didn't even
somewhere,
know
somewhere in the middle of the movie, I became convinced that this was the version of Scrooge that they were trying to produce in Scrooge.
Yeah, that's exactly the vibe that I got as well.
Yeah. What were your guys' reactions to this then, as a whole, or specifics?
It was boring as hell.
You thought it was boring?
I thought it was a little boring. I enjoyed
I liked it.
I liked it, but I'm watching this and just like, I don't know.
Maybe a little long.
Yeah.
Maybe if he yelled the whole time.
I think more yelling.
And was an irredeemable jerk the whole time.
That's all it needs.
And had this love interest that fawned over him for no reason. Maybe you'd like, you sad sack of...
Like I said, I still enjoyed it, but...
Oh, that's right. You don't like anything older than the 80s.
Obviously not.
Except for Star Wars.
Slurp,
slurp.
I like plenty of earlier movies than that.
Yeah, he likes Casablanca. I don't actually know. Do you like Casablanca?
I like Casablanca. I don't know since I've seen it.
Is he lying to us?
Yeah, he probably is.
Maltese Falcon, all that good stuff.
Who's in
Never actually seen.
I have no clue.
You don't know?
I know his name, but I don't
What
remember
is his
it off
name?
the top of my head.
That's the only one you have to say. What is the main actor for the
Yeah,
Maltese Falcon is also the main character in Casablanca. What's his name? He's one of the most prestigious screen actors of all time.
I know his name. I know what his name is.
Then say it.
But I don't remember it.
So you don't know his name.
But I know his name.
But you've heard his name.
You have a computer right in front of you.
No, I don't. I want him to guess. If he doesn't know this, I'm going to go to his house. I'm going to find his BS and I'm going to rip it in half. And then I'm going to piss on it like Jacob Marley's grave. I'm going to give your degree a golden shower after I rip it in half. Sorry.
You know that he was.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
What kind of computer is that?
Oh, yeah, it's Humphrey Bogart.
How did it take him this long?
Your computer is Humphrey Bogart?
Listen, I know the name. So sometimes names escape you.
What's the big line from the Maltese Falcon? Like the massive line that has been repeated for decades. I don't remember. Do you remember? I know you saw it.
I've never seen it.
The Maltese Falcon? I thought you told me you did. Because you got into a big noir phase with Drew.
Wait, hold on. Let me think.
If you don't know the line, it's okay because you watched it a long time
ago. No, I don't know.
I also watched it a long time ago.
I watched it probably 20 years ago. I don't even know that you've been alive for 20 years, man.
He doesn't act like it.
I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm almost 40. Shut up.
Ow, my back, my age bone.
My back and my knees.
The line is, it's like the guy says, what is this? He goes, the stuff that dreams are made of. And the guy goes, what? And that's it. That's the end of the movie.
I definitely watched it.
I don't remember.
Almost 10 full years
That's
ago
the big line from it. The stuff that dreams are made of.
Did I almost get that on Laserdisc and then you told me not to?
I think you were whittling down, and it was like between that and a couple others. I'm like, I feel like you are more connected to the other two. Oh, one of them might have been the Beauty and the Beast thing that you got.
Oh, the work print thing?
Yeah, and I was like, I'd go with the cool thing and the thing you connect to more than this that you kind of would just get for the sake of getting. Do I have it? I wonder if I have it.
Anyway.
Yeah, and
Scrooge.
I can understand if you found it a little slow.
It was slow,
but
I enjoyed it.
I mean, it was a 70s musical.
Yeah.
But what... Oh, I don't have it on Laserdisc, so I have it on DVD.
Oh, I thought that was one of the ones you took from my pile when I took them out of my pile.
Yeah. What I was going to connect to is... I said there are quieter moments that I usually don't see in these adaptations that they have that I really appreciated because it let me sit in the moment because you fly through the spirits in some versions so quick that this one actually gave him some breathing room. And one of them is, of all things, the song when he's reminiscing that he starts singing and it goes into the montage of them. And then the other part is when she leaves him, there's like we're just sitting in that room with him as he's contemplating going after it, and he goes out there and he just stops and walks back in and just kind of sits there, and that's when the other one was like, you idiot, go after her.
Yeah.
I was like, I like how we're sitting in this moment more than just it's going, and it's not the only one to do it. That scene's similar because the Patrick Stewart one is they have a very, very nice looking scene on they're on a walk outside on a bench where she walks away from him, and it's very similar to the Muppets one where they sing that beautiful song. That song is hard to listen to. It's so sad.
I love it.
And I love the choice to have Michael Caine sing with her at the end of it is brilliant.
Are you not talking about the 1970s one now?
I was talking about Muppet.
Okay.
I had talked about how other versions have done that similar scene in similar ways.
Okay.
And I wonder if, because you look at older versions, they're shorter movies. You wonder if this changed it to where this is a pretty big moment in his life. This is like the last gasp of air for him as a normal human, because it's kind of what changes everything, because it's the isolation growing up, his sister dying when he's an adult, and then I don't know if it's before or after this, but it's him losing the love of his life, his fiance, is the defining moment that turned him into him. That's why he's so hard and cold to people. And he did it to himself. Yeah. He chose money over people. So
I liked it.
I'm glad you did. What did you connect to?
I particularly liked the final, the Ghost of Christmas Future, because I feel like they turned that on its head a little bit and made it happy, and then it's kind of like an inside joke as you're watching it, and you're just kind of you're leaning more and more forward, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then it doesn't, and then it does.
And specifically, you're talking. It's the first time they sing "Thank You Very Much." Scrooge is not aware that he's dead, and he thinks they're cheering him, and they're literally dancing on his coffin.
It's pretty fun. Like,
And so he's, and then he turns around and Future's just standing there, and it kind of like kills the mood for me. You're like, oh no. And then I think that's when, that's right, because he turns and they're at the Cratchit home after Tim has died. Mm-hmm. I remember thinking like, that's really, because he's following the procession.
Yeah. And
then they end up at the Cratchit home. I go, that's really good.
I also think that this is my favorite version that I've seen of Bob Cratchit.
Oh,
I really liked him.
The last 2 times I watched it, it's that song he sings at the beginning where he and his kids are going shopping together. Mm-hmm. That is like, okay, they're really setting up Bob as like basically the antithesis of Scrooge, like this very loving, warm person. And I really like how bouncy that song, like Christmas something, like that, he sings with him. And it's showing all the shopping. It's actually showing like the differences in class too, like the rich person inside getting like the super expensive liquor or drink. Then here he is getting like, what was it, like $2 shilling punch that some street vendor made, but still tastes just as good, like that. And like how they get, when they get the food and stuff, it's a lot smaller, and he's spending what he just got from Scrooge for his family to be happy. Yep.
Okay, the fact that they just manhandled all those geese, just throwing them around like it's not raw meat. I'm just like, why do they just be washing their hands? What are they doing?
Yep.
Salmonella.
Yep.
Salmonella didn't exist in the 1800s.
No.
What are you talking about?
Obviously not.
So yeah, I remember the when I watched it last year, that whole scene was like, okay, I forgot about this. And then this time I was like, I like how, as much as we're prolonging when we get to the spirits, we are giving a little more background into the Cratchits. That makes sense.
What was with that song flying through all the spirits for the Ghost of Christmas Past?
I think that's in the book.
You think?
Either the flying or like, from what I have read or heard, there is a scene where Marley shows Scrooge all the spirits of the world out his window. I don't know if they fly with them. But it's in the Patrick Stewart version too.
That was intense in the weirdest way.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was also going to mention that was another thing that's similar to your pick, just threw me off. I'm like, what is going on?
I think in the Patrick Stewart one, he just opens the window and Patrick Stewart looks out, and they're all like in this like swirl in the sky, and then they're like getting close to people trying to help, but they can't affect anything. So and it's really funny. That's another part. My dad goes, "It's kind of weird." Dad, I know you know it's weird. You say that every year.
Your dad is nothing but a sucker for tradition, though.
Yep. It's just funny. He says the same things at the same parts every single time we watch, every single year. But that's just what's expected. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that spirit part, in some way, I believe, is in the source material.
That's the other funny thing I noticed about this. It's the 70s, so I'm not going to give it too much crap. But this is going to reveal my history, Achilles heel. Electricity wasn't invented yet, correct?
I don't know when electricity was invented.
I have no idea.
What are you talking about specifically?
Well, I got the feeling that most of the lighting was gas, or supposed to be gas. However, if you look in a lot of those shops, it's way brighter. And if you look at
that's such a small detail. I can guarantee.
Oh, you're just talking about. I thought you're saying like there's technology in it that didn't
No, there is.
belong?
You can tell that they're light bulbs
in the shot.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or there's this thing where they have the different color. It's a string of lights, and they have the different colored jars that they would put like candles in, I assume. They're clear, like you can see the wire go down and through it. They're like, it's the 70s. Like I don't. It's not that big of a deal. It just I was like. It's also in my pick. I didn't talk about it last week, but I should have. In Scrooge's house, he's got those plaques that have the 2 candles. Those flames aren't moving at all. They're clearly light bulbs.
Yeah. I love the little detail in that scene where he lights his fire with the long match, and he's putting it out to reuse it. Just again, it's like, oh, how many times have he reused it? I like how he puts it out and just. Puts it back in. I go, that's funny. I don't know. It's just a small thing. He's so good as Scrooge, too. I like how he can play, because he plays the younger Scrooge as well in some of those flashback scenes.
Oh, I really enjoyed the trivia.
Oh, the game they were playing?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a fun game. I want to play that game.
I don't feel like
something-
in a lot
The
of
Majestic Cat or something like that?
something like that, where you have...
Oh yeah,
the
that's
cat
right.
is
Scrooge was trivia, I think.
The something
Yes.
cat
And
is
then
a
the cat
something
thing,
cat.
yeah.
The something cat. It's the same letter, and you have to keep thinking of different adjectives. And if you get it wrong, then you move on to the next
It's
letter.
an interesting thing because I feel like in most of the adaptations I've seen longer than Mickey's Christmas Carol, you see them play a different game because of the time that we're in.
Yeah, the Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart when they play Blind Man's Bluff, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like with a very creepy side character, where his name is Mr. Topper, and he goes, "Please, my friends call me Topper." It's like every year I cringe at that character. Like,
It's another one of those small moments, like you were talking about, like he's arguing with them about what they should have said.
yeah, that's what I was going to bring about that scene. I noticed this time around, the big change doesn't come from one of those deeper moments I mentioned that is missing. It more comes out of he's in that room with them and they're talking bad about him and he's getting all mad. But once he starts actually interacting with people in a joyous way, he ends up being like a normal, functioning, happy person. And like when everyone's leaving and he's like talking as if he's there and he's just so happy. Mm-hmm. And it's just like he's cut himself off for so long. All it took was just one pleasant evening with people to like reignite that part of him. And I was finding joy in that moment of him being so happy, just like, yeah, we'll have to do it again next year. That game, I think I was quite good at it. Like just him going over as he keeps going, like he's actually like a host of the party. And I was like, it's like part of you thinks that he just wants to belong, or did, and he just pushed it away because he lost.
I do think
What's
out
her
of
name? Elizabeth.
all three of our
Elizabeth, I
Scrooge
think.
characters, he's probably the most actually feel like he was worth redeeming. He was a dick, like he was a bad guy, but
he comes more off as a grouch
yeah.
than a terrible person.
Yes.
I think that's because that's more of a one-for-one adaptation
I
than
think
either of ours are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, going back to that thing people say about the source material being like hope and joy and warmth in a time of darker times like that, it is showing you like, look at this person who's pretty sad, and all it takes is just human connection to bring him back. And he was already starting to feel that. And of course, it's like in this version, present is what changes him, and future nails it down like most. But this one, it's like the changes happen at the end, right before future. It happens during, and he realizes like how different he can be. And then future is the one. It's like you have to know the consequences of your actions. So I don't think the depth is there that it is in other versions. But man, do those last 20, 30 minutes feel so good. It's just one nonstop party all the way.
It really is
there.
a lot of...
And I love the moment of...
His Santa suit.
Yeah. You don't recognize me, do you, Cratchit? Yeah. Well, no. Mr. Scrooge!
It was really well choreographed, that whole dance. The way that it looks, just it felt very
fluid and
Yeah.
together. And I love it's everyone jumps but Scrooge part where he turns around and then just they do the big kick up in the air. I was like, oh, that looks so good. And then they're singing and singing during the earlier one. It's like, hey, my baby's trying to sleep. Sorry, Mrs. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
They just whisper it until they get past, then they sing again. I remember the first time I watched at the end, and there's this hard cut from thank you very much to that Christmas Carol thing that the altar boy choirs, whatever they're calling it.
Yes.
That was like, whoa.
That got
but then
me.
it slowly comes together. And I was like, okay, it's such an abrupt change.
Same. I realized that. Yeah.
You're
I
like,
was
did I skip ahead on the time for you? Did I skip?
Yeah.
I thought my DVD was skipping.
I was like, that was a
the first
stark edit.
Yep.
What's going on?
But it's so, and then they're all dancing around the square, and everyone is joining in, and he's just hey, like that. I go, this is just
What
so
was
much
that?
fun. Hey! He's so good at this. He's funny. That's the other thing. Like, he plays the grouch part, but he's pretty funny.
He just has some good one-liners.
I brought up one from Christmas Present. Christmas Present was killing me this time because he's just insulting him to his face. Well, first he gives him that drink, and he's like, "It's so tasty.
Oh my god.
It's superb." He's making that face talk out the side of his mouth, and he's got like these big eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Goofy. Like, he's so
And then
goofy.
when he has him like fly, whee! That it's the back and forth is when they get to the Cratchit home is, "I want to look in the window." He goes, "It will cost you nothing, which I'm sure will be good news for you. Will they be able to see me? No, which I feel sure will be good news for them." So that was my favorites. I'm trying to see if there's any others that. But there's got to be another one that someone wrote down here where I was just dying.
There's a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah, someone talk. Let's see if I can find another one.
He did such a God. He really did a fun job in this. I am glad because I'm not saying that I will rewatch it, but it was a delightful watch that I would definitely come back to again. If I felt,
yeah, I can't find it.
Felt like it.
I can't find another one, but there's something about that first time I watched it where I was like, it's just nonstop joy. It's what the end of yours wants to be, but it doesn't earn it.
Yeah.
Because he's so horrible. And I think that's the thing with the Scrooge character isn't supposed to be a terrible human being. I think he's just, what's a good way to say
more
it?
like a Grinch.
I don't want to say misunderstood because he's fully doing these things or not doing things. I just think I don't even know how to put it into words right now. If that makes sense. It's not that he's a bad person. It's just he's an ignorant person.
Yeah.
Because the big line that you always hear is the child going to die. Well, what's it matter to you? He should just go ahead and do it and decrease the surplus population. What a terrible thing to say at the beginning. And then the other one is like, but what? He goes, are there no workhouses? Are there no shelters? You know, like when they throw and they don't do that in this version for the second half of that. When those lines get thrown back in his face, that is the big realization moment for most, where he realizes like, I've been terrible thinking about it like that. Not that he is a terrible person necessarily, but that's the other thing I like is where other versions that we've talked about, their actions are pretty vile. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily done anything vile. It's the things he says can be pretty bad, and when he realizes how terrible they are, that's when the change happens. Because it's so easy to say things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he did it well.
Yeah. I think that's what I got. This kind of speaks for itself because it is pretty faithful, and the big difference is it's a musical. Mm-hmm. There are other musical versions. There's a Kelsey Grammer one from the 2000s that's a musical. There is an animated version of this adaptation that came out last year. I think it's on Netflix. I didn't watch it because I hear it's not very good. It's literally the animated version of this with the same songs and everything. I think Luke Evans plays Scrooge.
Weird pick.
Who else is in that? I just saw it. It's like Luke Evans is Scrooge. Any other names there? Olivia Colman is the ghost of Christmas Past, where she's a past. Jessie Buckley is Isabel. And Jonathan Pryce is Jacob Marley. Yeah, came out last year. I think it was on Netflix. Yep, it's a Netflix release. Because I remember I watched it and I went on there and it like popped up. I was like, what is this? And I hear it's not great.
Weird idea.
Yeah, an animated remake. It's called Scrooge, A Christmas Carol. Literally both those, but using all the same songs or most of them. There is a stage adaptation too. I don't think it was incredibly popular. It had a revival in the 2000s. It was in the 90s. It was the adaptation. Then in the 2000s, it had a revival, and it looks like it was revived in London in 2012, and that was the last time. So, not huge, but did okay. But I'm glad to see that that there are people out there that have said that I've read that this was their annual watch with their family. It has stuck around. It's just it has fallen to the wayside, as I said earlier.
Because there's so many adaptations.
It's got to be one of the most adapted things.
Oh, easily.
Because I think it is public domain, and it's a foundation of a lot of storytelling just in culture. Dickensian has become a phrase because how many movies and shows and things just do the whole look back at your life thing. You know, a super early example that I can think of is like the Phantom Carriage, silent movie from like Sweden, where it's like he's looking over his life, you know, before going on the Phantom Carriage for death. And it's like, and then, like every read, a Dickensian tale. I go, yep, that's just, he's the one who basically invented this storytelling vehicle.
It's a testament to how good it is. It lasted this long.
Really weird.
What looks really weird?
I just watched the preview for the animated one.
Just now?
Yeah.
Is the animation kind of
I don't know that I'd say that. I mean, I have seen the one with Jim Carrey in it, so
haunting.
Nothing
that
could.
One is actually terrifying.
Where he's making this face the whole time, right?
I don't hate that one, but nothing could be as unnerving. I should have picked this. I made you watch it.
That's truly one of the worst looking movies I've ever seen.
I've never seen it.
Don't.
You should watch it.
Don't.
Does he make weird noises?
Yes.
Like Jim Carrey, like
yes.
Bah, humbug, like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's pretty much spot on.
I mean, if you want to get someone to do a mocap Scrooge, I mean, Jim Carrey's pretty animated already, so that's kind of perfect.
It does. It does fit.
Then we can watch Beowulf after it.
Oh my god.
Another Zemeckis mocap movie.
I never realized. Is that like completely animated?
I think so.
I remember when that came out in like
2008.
Was it that late? I felt like it was still in when I was. I never really.
I think it's 08.
I never really knew whether it was animated or live action.
Oh, same. I thought it was live action, but then when you look close, it's like, oh, that's animated. 2007.
That feels late to me.
It's like a weird mocap though. It looks like PS2 cutscene.
Oh boy.
Or PS3 cutscene at that point. Like it's from a distance.
2007 was PS3? Really?
Yeah. Because it was the year after the Wii, right? And the Wii is 06.
That checks out.
I could check really quick.
I mean, I guess that checks because Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 06. So
2006 is the PS3.
Damn.
2007 in Europe and Australia.
that means that that Kingdom Hearts 2 might have been sort of a swan song for the PS2. I guess you
Neil
could say this.
Gaiman wrote this screenplay for Beowulf.
Huh.
That's what it says.
Go Neil Gaiman.
And Ry Widgstown is the main character. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these images. Yeah, it's animated. From a distance, it doesn't look like it. You look closer, it looks like a video game cutscene. Let's watch it. It's 2 hours long.
Yay.
I mean, most movies are.
Animation's a little different. For some reason, when animated movies hit 2 hours, it feels like twice as long. I don't know what it is.
Fair.
But yeah.
Look for Scrooge. Any final thoughts on this joyful film? Scrooge.
It wasn't even that. For me, it was the flutter up.
I know.
Oh, do you believe that? Yes, I believe.
Like, was that Alec Guinness's idea? Was that the director?
Ronald
A combination
Neame.
of both? Who? Hey.
But
Was it the Ghost of Christmas Past that was the woman in the Santa coat?
yes, I think that
Yes.
Edith Evans, and she very puppy sounding voice. Yep. Because past is usually a woman, not always, but I think that's usually what the representation is, and then present usually the big Santa resembling guy who's usually wearing like woodsman stuff. Like, oh, come and know me better, man, is usually the opening thing, and he's huge. I relate to him. And then future is the silent Grim Reaper type, which again the Patrick Stewart one with like the floating little beady eye thing. I think that's that one. It's either that one or that's the Muppet one. One of the two has like this really creepy future look, but I don't remember. I digress.
You know what movie doesn't get talked about enough?
What?
Claws.
Claws?
Sorry.
Klaus.
You are preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, I've watched that most of the last few Christmases. I think I missed one or two in there, but I usually watch it about this time of year, and every time I do, I'm like, this is so good.
Such a good movie.
One or two things keep it from being better that even now it's like, yeah, I don't like that. But other than that, it's like, I love it. And I only say that because I'm not trying to focus on negatives, but it's like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this every time I watch it. But everything else, it's the liar reveal thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Everything else, though, is like, this is really good. I'm probably going to watch that, after Thanksgiving.
It's coming up, yeah.
Yeah, because as of right now, it's not Thanksgiving when we recorded this.
Not yet.
Not to timestamp it, but you don't think we actually sat down on Christmas and recorded this and put it out for you.
Obviously.
But we hope that
we're that dedicated.
We hope right now that you have left your family Christmas dinner to go to the bathroom and just sit there on the toilet listening to us talk about Scrooge.
It's better than listening to your parents talk about Donald Trump and.
You have a point there.
Just anything political. Israel as right now, yeah. So you're saying it's better than being around the table with anyone's family when they talk about stuff like that. It's like, Merry Christmas to you too. My table's fine, but I know other people's that are contentious.
Just a little bit.
But
anyway.
Would it be the holidays if it wasn't?
Absolutely. Anyway, if no more final thoughts, thanks for listening to this merry, wonderful Christmas special episode. If you want to follow us on socials, Jared, where are we at?
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and hey, if you're listening, that was follow us, sorry. If you're listening to us, and it's Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like and subscribe and comment and ring our jingle bells. We got to say that last few times, but it is Christmas right now. Yeah. Make sure you check out our groovy website, and from all of us at Off Slate Media, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Holidays and Happy New Year.
New Year.
We totally rehearsed all of this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But yes, have a very wonderful holiday season. And thanks if you checked us out on Christmas. That's cool. And if you didn't, that's also cool. You spent time with your family.
I thought we just said we're better than spending time with their family. You just said
Goodbye,
that. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week.